Hey, this is Chuck Lemire from Bob Corcoran and Associates. I'm here with Bob Corcoran himself for another Corcoran Tip of the Week. Now, Bob and I have been covering kind of secrets to a thriving team. And we've, in previous weeks, talked about the fact that a team isn't necessarily a large team like we think of with buyer agents and listing agents. Your team could be a combination of your mortgage reps, your photographer, and other people on your team if you're a standalone agent. But today we're going to cover two other elements that are really key elements to building a thriving team. Last week we talked about the importance of principles, values, vision, mission statement. These two elements are the other two of the four elements that Bob and I teach our clients of the four tenets in hiring someone. And although we don't hire the photographer, we associate with them. They're an important part of the team. So, Bob, we're going to talk about self-managed and self-disciplined. And very often in the real estate industry, we don't hire people on a team in a W-2 sense where a business does in some other industry. We are faced with the relationship aspect and the cooperation under a team. And so how do we really get the right people on the right, in the right, as someone once said in a great book, Good to Great, get the people on the bus and put them in the right seats. So how do we get the right photographer or the right TC, the right ISA on our team, and how does self-managed and self-disciplined play into that?
Well, Chuck, as a CEO of a corporation, I'm not here as a babysitter. And when I look at how real estate has transpired over the last 5 years, we've been in a very extremely hot market. Heck, I say a bulldog could have been successful for the last 5 years. Well, now we're back to normal pre-COVID. Okay. And when you talk about self-managed, self-discipline, I am the CEO of a corporation. My job is not to manage you. My job is not to discipline you. I always say if I have to manage you, I don't need you. I already got enough to do. So why do I want to put something else on my plate? And I think the biggest mistake that people make when they're hiring people, they go on the cheap. Well, I can hire my sister because, well, she's just looking for some part-time work. Well, folks, you're going to get what you pay for. Okay. It is the wrong attitude to take unless your sister has a phenomenal work ethic and is self-managed and self-disciplined. Maybe then they can hold you accountable. And that's what this is all about. It's about accountability. So it all starts in the hiring process. And part of the most crucial thing in any interview is it should never be just one interview. Chuck, when we're interviewing people, for our teams, as we, always do, we're involved in our client's interview process. We have somebody who interviews the candidate as well. So they fill out an application, they take a personality profile link, then they're interviewed by, either the CEO or somebody he designates on his team to interview them. If they like them, we always like 2 interviews in-house before they come to us. Okay. And then our person, if we get an email, they need an interview, our clients will send us the application and the disc results. Then we set up an interview for that day or as soon as the applicant is available. And our job is to find out, are they self-managed, self-disciplined? Then we take our notes, we get them back to our team leader or CEO and we always make a recommendation. Yes, I would hire. We can go, yes, I would hire, but pay attention to this red flag. You might want to dive a little deeper. Or I would not hire for these reasons. And most of the reasons we reject people is because they're not self-managed and self-disciplined. So that's how crucial we look at that, because as an agent, as the CEO of a corporation, you already have that in your plate. Heck, you're a minister, you're a financial wizard, you're a marketing genius. You have all these jobs that you really are part of the process, but you don't get paid for it. So the last thing you want to take on is having to manage your people. And the other thing is when communicating with a team member, as we always say, close your loops. Every time you ask one of your team members to get a job done, give them a deadline. Chuck, I need this done by Wednesday at 3. Is that possible? So you say when you need it. If Chuck says, Bob, that's really going to be tight. Okay, when can you get it done? Then Chuck will give me a time, knowing I want it Wednesday at 3, which is tomorrow, right? Chuck might push it off to Thursday. The other thing is never have a Friday deadline. Because what happens at Friday deadline? People get busy last minute stuff and they forget to do the task, and you fume all weekend because they didn't get back to you. That's why we never have Friday deadlines. But the crucial thing, you want to have a team that lasts, get a team that buys into your mission statement, your core values, agrees to embody the 5 dysfunctions of a team, but ask the people, describe what does self-managed mean to you? What does self-disciplined mean to you? Make the applicant give their answer. And if you don't like it, say it right then and there. This is not a popularity contest because you're entrusting your hard-earned money by paying this person a salary or giving up your leads to a buyer agent or a listing partner on your team. Then the last thing you want to do is manage the people. Crucial in building an effective team. It's the same if you're a standalone agent. Is your home inspector self-managed, self-disciplined? Your lender. And the only way to know that is you've got to meet with these people and say, look, Chuck, I'd love for you to work with you as my lender, but I want to go over what I expect from you first. See, I have to share it. I can't expect Chuck to be self-managed, self-disciplined unless I talk to him about it. So
Right.
Don't be afraid. Hey, don't say, well, if I talk to Chuck about that, he won't want to do loans with me. He'll appreciate it. Trust me. So
Absolutely.
self-managed, self-discipline is the key to longevity and retention on teams.
Yeah, great point. And before we close out, I don't quite want to go down this rabbit hole because you're going to have a lot of comments. So I'm just going to frame this and you will agree, right? Because while we've been filming this tip of the week, there's been someone that's been doing tile work behind you. And here's my guess. This was not the first tile guy that you interviewed, but this tile guy showed up on time and he's doing what he's supposed to do, but you're not managing him. He's just doing the work. And I know, and many people who know you, that you and Brenda suffered, extensive damage through the hurricanes that came through Florida just recently. And there are plenty of units around you that need work. And you're the first one that's going to be done. Why? You hire people based on those agreements, you hold them accountable, and you not only teach this and preach it, but you practice it with the gentleman who's doing your tile behind you.
Yeah, that's a great point. It actually makes me laugh. The tile guy we interviewed 3 houses ago. This is the 4th time they're doing tile work for us. So we already know it. So I had to bust his chops this morning because he was an hour late. I said, Mike, what happened? You're going to be here at 9. It's 10 o'clock. Traffic on that Skyway Bridge was just, I said, do you know what a phone call is to tell us you're going to be late? So, and it's always holding, but he didn't take offense to that and he apologized. But you're right. We interviewed 6 different tile guys before we settled on this because we expect excellent work. And it's funny when he pulled up yesterday to do the tile work, I explained because we lost everything in that last hurricane, as you know, Chuck. And he goes, I said, I'm so glad you're here because, some of these tile people doing the other properties, wow. Like one guy next door neighbor, they put down a dark brown tile and the guy put in white grout. The owner looks at it and says, are you kidding me? So they had to rip it up and do it over. I don't have to worry about these guys because they're top shelf and they're self-managed and self-disciplined.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you and Brenda have your home back to where it is. And thanks for the tip of the week, Bob. And if any of you listening have questions for Bob, there's a screen right after we finish with our email, info@bobcorcoran.com, or our website. And on our website, you could ask for a 30-minute consultation, and Bob or I, or both of us, will give you a free assessment of where your business is and where you want to take it. So thanks, Bob. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it. And did you say, if you have any questions, info@bobcorcoran.com?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, folks. Love y'all. Bye-bye.